And it's an iconic building with an iconic history. It used to house Tony Angelo's restaurant, and it now has transformed into something new. The Advocate's food critic Ian McNutly joins us now with a special look at Rizzuto's, Ristorante, and Chop House.
That's right, Jade. This restaurant is very new. In fact, it had its opening night last Friday.
Brand new.
I was there to check it out, and usually, we wait a little longer to give a new restaurant a peek. Restaurants need to get into their groove a little bit. But this one is special because, as you mentioned, the location. This was the longtime home of Tony Angelos in Lakeview, tucked away there. I mean, it looks like your grandparents' house right there, the edge of the suburban neighborhood. And it's always been different. Here's a picture of the old Tony Angelos. People will recognize it through generations of New Orleans dining. Families come here. The namesake, Tony Angelo, he became part of people's families. The restaurant was like an extension of people's homes. So it's a very important restaurant. Well, Tony Angelo sadly died in 2016. His family closed the restaurant permanently at the end of the year. New people have moved in. This is Rizzuto's now. This is from the Rizzuto family, another well-known family around town. And we wanted to give people a look at what they've done with a place that a lot of people around town will, of course, remember. So here's the new look on the inside. What the Rizzutos have done here is try to make it feel a little bit more upscale, a little brighter, a little more modern. You can see the same layout across the rooms. It's a progression of small private dining rooms and then that big main dining room. Here's one named after the crew of Pygmalion, which is one of the family's crews that they're in. So lots of personal touches throughout it, but this is one of those restaurants where people are going to walk in and feel like they recognize it, but it's different. So it's kind of an interesting experience for the longtime New Orleans diner. Now on the menu, of course, Rizzuto's, what do you expect? They're going with Italian.
Food.
Yes, they're going with Italian
look
food.
Look at that. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
this is one of the dishes we tried, the tortellacci, which is picture jumbo tortellini. Well, inside those pasta pouches are wine braised beef short rib meat.
Sign me
Yeah,
up.
delicious. Good marinara sauce on top. Representative of kind of the Italian side of the menu. Rizzuto's also brings a steakhouse component to it. That's the chop house part. Here's the tomahawk pork chop. Just a fun dish to say, right?
Yeah,
and even more fun to eat. So again, they're going for it's a Italian, family style restaurant with an upscale steakhouse menu attached to it in this setting that's a little more modern, more clean line, brighter now, but still has that familiar layout. I mean, people are going to walk up to this door and they can't help it. They're going to walk in with that comparison to the old Tony Angelos.
Well, they have a huge legacy to follow. I mean, Tony Angelos, like you said, it was just so well known in the community.
Well, it's one of those things about New Orleans dining. One of the things that makes it special, actually, is the way that the memories and legacies continue. And you know how it is. Places close, chapters close, new stories begin. That's what we're seeing out here in Lakeview. Rizzuto's is a new start for this place, but of course we know that the way New Orleans dining mind works, people are going to have these hardwired memories when they walk in. But I say, give it a fresh chance. Walk in, check out the bar, check out the rooms, see how it feels to you. Give the menu a look. It's a really interesting addition for Lakeview in a place that's always had a special place in that neighborhood.
And looking at those pictures, oh, my mouth is watering. It doesn't look like the food is going to disappoint either. And the Rizzuto family, I mean, it seems like they are very well known in the area already.
They're expanding into the restaurant business, which is why maybe more people are hearing about them. Yeah, Amici on Magazine Street is a good example. They also opened Creole Carré, which is a new Italian restaurant on Bourbon Street, actually in the old Tony's Spaghetti House. People will remember that from back in the day. So they have a little bit of a track record now in actually taking over some of these iconic old properties. But Rizzuto's Ristorante and Chop House in Lakeview, like I said, just a week old. They're off to a good start. It's going to be interesting to see how New Orleans responds to an old place they knew, loved all these years, opening a new chapter. But that's what it's about in the dining scene. There's always things changing, and there's always a chance for someone to make a new mark. Yeah,
people are very welcoming here. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
We appreciate it. You can read more reviews and stories from Ian McNulty on our news partner's website. That's thenewOrleansAdvocate.com.